After over 40 years of working, paying taxes, and saving, why does retirement feel like entering survival mode? That's a question I've been hearing a lot lately. It's not far away. It's right here in the United States, one of the most developed economies in the world. Millions of older Americans are now just one medical bill, 1 month's late rent, or a small financial setback away from homelessness. All their lives, they believed they had done everything right, going to work regularly, silently saving every penny for their old age. But then, on retirement day, they discovered a chilling truth. The rules of the game hadn't changed, but the cost of living had multiplied many times over. And if growing old in America has become a fear, how many people will still be willing to stay? There's one thing that many older Americans only realize when it's too late. The retirement system they trusted was designed for an America that no longer exists. It was built at a time when people didn't live long after retirement. The cost of living was low, and healthcare hadn't become a huge business like it is now.
Guys, this is the major nightmare, huge nightmare that a lot of senior citizens are experiencing and they're waking up to right now. They didn't even know what to do. A lot of these people, imagine like a 60-year-old, a 70-year-old, they're retiring this year. By the way, 10,000 baby boomers are retiring every single day. Yeah, that's a lot of people. It's crazy. Imagine out of those 10,000, at least 5,000, that's half, are waking up to this nightmare. They're finding out that their life savings is not enough to carry them until they expire. They don't have enough money to live, maybe for 2 years at the very most. And you know what? These healthcare companies, these insurance companies are salivating. They're like greedy wolves waiting to snatch up every single dime from these old people. And they know this. These old people know this stuff now. Because every time they go to the grocery store, every time they go to the pharmacy, every time they go to the doctor's office, they can't afford it.
To be blunt, the rules aren't wrong, but they're outdated. In the past, retirement was like the final stretch of a short marathon. Today, it's like stepping into a desert that stretches for 20 to 25 years, where you have to carry your own water for the entire journey. The problem is, no one tells you exactly how long it is.
Do you know how exhausting it is? See, I'm only 44 and I'm already exhausted. I can't imagine being 65, that's 20 years from now, going through this. I would be panicking.
Let's talk about something everyone is familiar with, the 401k. On paper, it sounds very reasonable.
401ks are scams, guys. 401ks are a major scam.
You save yourself, invest yourself, and take responsibility for your own future. It sounds free and proactive. But in reality, it did something very sophisticated. It shifted all the risk from the system to the individual. No more stable pensions for most, no longer guaranteed for the final years of life. Instead, each worker becomes the CEO of their own retirement, but has never been trained to be a CEO. Your task is to guess the market, predict your own lifespan, calculate inflation over the next 20 years, and hope you don't get seriously ill too soon.
Oh, did I mention some of these boomers are losing their homes because taxes are going up, HOA fees are going up. There's an HOA fee scam that's going on in Florida where these HOA companies are saying if you don't pay your HOA fees, you can get foreclosed on. There's a scam going on in Florida, let's put it this way, where these private equity companies, that's it, come and scoop in. They rewrote all the laws to be against these people so they can rob them blind. So imagine working for 40, 45 years just for everything to be taken away from you. Man, I would cry. I would cry like a baby.
Or does it sound like a long-term gamble? Now, let's convert this into an easy-to-understand image. Imagine you retire with enough money to live for 10 to 12 years, but in reality, you need 20 to 25 years. Each year that passes is like a chair in the living room being sold, a trip being cancelled, a time for another day with one's own health. Increased lifespan, that's good news. But savings didn't increase. That was the real blow. And here's the satire that many people only dare to force a smile at. They tell you have to save, but they didn't make it clear that living to old age is so expensive.
You can't save your way out of this economy, guys. There's no way. With the way this inflation is looking, the dollar already is losing value by the day, by the minute. Okay, you can't save your way out of this economy, I promise you.
What makes this the most painful isn't the numbers, but it's the feeling of being politely deceived. You did everything right, but the system doesn't update according to your real life.
That's the worst part, right? You feel like you've been deceived silently. It's betrayal. And nobody cares. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares.
So the question isn't, have Americans saved enough? But rather, is this system still suitable for an aging society? And if you think money is the biggest problem of old age, just wait until we talk about something that can wipe out a lifetime of savings with just one hospital stay. If retirement is a trap, healthcare is the lid that slams down the fastest. Most older Americans don't go broke from spending. They collapse due to illness, something that wasn't in any financial plan. No matter how careful you were, you can calculate monthly food expenses, annual rent, gas, and electricity bills. But no one can predict the day they'll end up in the emergency room. Let's imagine it this way for easier understanding. You spend your whole life building a sandcastle called a pension fund, 1 penny at a time, 1 year at a time. It doesn't look big, but it's enough to give you peace of mind. Then one day, the tide came in. An ambulance ride, one surgery. A course of treatment lasts for several weeks. No need for a big tragedy, just enough bad luck at the right time. And that sandcastle, it's washed away faster than you think. Many people believe that. Once you have Medicare, you're fine.
But we know what's going on with Medicare, right? Medicare is getting more difficult to get on. It's getting cut. And people are panicking, guys.
Actually, not really. Medicare helps a lot. That's true. But it doesn't cover everything. There are still co-pays. There are still unpaid services. And there are still out-of-pocket medications, tests, and procedures. So, for peace of mind, you buy additional insurance. And so a new expense appears regularly in old age, every month. In other words, you're not paying to get well. You're paying for permission to continue treatment. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, the United States has become a giant scam, guys. So let me tell you the opportunity here, because I think you guys have watched enough of this. If you want to watch more, I'll put a link to this video in the description of this video so you can watch this nightmare that is happening to senior citizens. If you're a home care provider, if you're a home care agency, you can use this to your advantage because there's so many senior citizens that are not wealthy. And I know I advocate for servicing wealthy clients. I get that. But this opportunity is going to be applicable to people that are not multimillionaires, but they have some savings. Not millionaires, but they have some savings. So let's say one of these senior citizens has 50,000, 100K in savings. So instead of their money getting drained by the medical system, because the entire medical system is a giant scam, they know it because they've seen their friends, their coworkers getting drained out, and they don't want that. The opportunity for you is to provide an option for them to retire offshore, to retire in your country. Maybe you might be from Ghana, maybe you might be from Nigeria, maybe you're from Colombia, Mexico. There are more and more senior citizens that are seeing this as the only option that they have to escape this nightmare. But not everybody wants to go to Mexico, you see. Some want to go to Colombia, some want to go to Ecuador. It's beautiful down there in Ecuador, I heard. But there are going to be some that want to go to places like Africa, Southeast Asia there, Vietnam. But if you're from all these places, let's say you're from Ecuador or you're from Ghana, there's nothing stopping you from building an offer for these senior citizens and telling them that they can retire in your country and you can help them retire in your country with your supervision, with your help, and you offer them the senior care services at the standards that they used to. You can start off with 2 people, 2 retired people, and then the word is going to go out that you're the best retirement community over there in Ghana. You're the best retirement community over there in South Africa. And they'll just flock down there. Build like a nice eco-village where you're growing your own food. You're taking care of them. Somebody that is on Social Security, that is getting maybe like $1,000 in Social Security, maybe just under 1,000, can live quite comfortably in a place like Ghana, especially if they're not in Accra, the major city. So aim for the smaller cities that are outside of the major cities, outside of the expensive areas. This is how you can set up these retirement communities, where you set up everything according to Western standards. And you just pitch this idea to these old people. And somebody's going to take you up on it because you're solving a problem that is needed out here. These old people, they're not stupid. They're seeing what's happening and they're panicking. So eventually, if you set up the right offer, it's very possible that you'll make a lot of money and retire in your own country as well. So if you're from Ghana, for example, let me use Ghana as a perfect example. If you have land over there in Ghana, set it up. Let me show you something you can set up in Ghana. You can set up something like this. You can purchase these container homes over there in China, and they're beautiful too. Very modern, gorgeous. It's got everything. So you don't have to build anything yourself and deal with those contractors that might scam you. Go over there to China, pick up one of these units for, 15, 20,000, put it on your land, and then invite all these old people from the United States that are getting scammed, right? Invite them over there and then charge them like $500 a month to live in your retirement community. Some will take you up on your offer. It's not going to be everybody. So out of 50 people, all you need is 5. Because at the end of the day, let me tell you something. Old people are very lonely in America. Lonelier than ever. There's a loneliness epidemic right now, and people are craving community. And I can help you build this offer if you're interested in something like this. But it requires you to be serious. How we're going to build this offer out is by creating the value, talking about all the things that these people are going to get. And then you're going to have to market to these people. And that's not too difficult. You can start running commercials on TV, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, just in your city. And it's very, very affordable to do that. So if you guys are ready to work with the best, then I say schedule a call. I'll put a link in the description of this video.